Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever set a goal, but didn't finish it? Maybe you wanted to lose weight, learn English, get a better job, or change your life completely. You were excited in the beginning, full of energy. But after some time, something happened. You stopped. You forgot. Or life got in the way. Maybe you tried again and failed again. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Many people experience this. But here's the truth. The problem is not you. The problem is the method. Now imagine this. What if I told you that there's a simple, clear, step-by-step method that can help you achieve any goal you want? Yes, any goal. Whether it's small, like waking up earlier every day, or big, like becoming fluent in English or starting your own business. And you don't need to be special. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to understand how goals really work and how to take the right action at the right time in the right way. In this video, I'm going to show you that way. Not with magic, not with big promises, but with real, simple methods that anyone, even absolute beginners, can use. I will guide you through each step in easy English so you can follow along. Even if your English is not perfect, don't worry. This video is for learners, for doers, for dreamers. And here's the best part. If you stay with me till the end, I'll give you a strategy that you can use for the rest of your life. Not just to achieve one goal, but to achieve anything you want. So stay with me. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why most people never reach their goals. Let's begin with something honest, and maybe a little painful. Most people never reach their goals. And it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're not smart enough. And it's definitely not because they don't want it badly. The truth is, most people fail because they don't know how goals really work. They try hard, they get excited, they even put in effort at the start. But then, slowly they stop. And then they feel bad. They think, maybe I'm just not the kind of person who finishes things. But that's not true. The real reason is much simpler. They just didn't have the right strategy. That's what we're going to fix today. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone wants to learn English. They're excited. They download an app. They buy a grammar book. They watch some videos. They try to study for 1 or 2 weeks. But then, life happens. Work gets busy. They forget. They skip 1 day, then 2. And soon, they stop completely. Why? Because their goal wasn't clear. It was just a wish. I want to learn English. But how? When? Why? No plan. No direction. Just hope. And hope alone is not a method. Or take another example. Someone wants to lose weight. They say, this year, I will become fit. They join a gym. They stop eating sugar. They wake up early. But after a few weeks, they feel tired. It's hard. The results are slow. Their friends are still eating ice cream. And they quit. Again, the problem was not the goal. The problem was the way. There was no small plan. No deep reason. Just a big, loud goal with no legs to stand on. Here's what you need to understand. A goal is not just a dream. It's not a wish. A goal needs structure. A goal needs clarity. A goal needs a system. And most people never take the time to build that. They think strong feelings are enough. But motivation is like the weather. It comes and goes. What you need is a map and a reason. Let's talk about some of the most common mistakes people make when they set goals. The first mistake is making the goal too vague. They say, I want to be successful. But what does success mean? Does it mean money? Peace? Speaking English confidently? We don't know. And if you don't know what your goal is, how will you know when you reach it? You won't. So your brain gets confused. You lose interest, and you stop. The second mistake is trying to do too much at once. People say, I'll change everything starting Monday. They try to wake up early, eat healthy, study English, exercise, meditate, and read a book, all in one day. It feels good for 1 or 2 days. But then burnout. The brain can't handle that much change. So it shuts down. You stop. You fail. And you blame yourself. But it's not your fault. It was just too much, too fast. The third mistake is not knowing what to do next. This is a big one. You start something new, but then you get stuck. Maybe your English lessons feel boring. Maybe your diet plan doesn't work for your body. You hit a problem, and you don't know how to solve it. So you quit. You think, maybe this just isn't for me. But the truth is, you just needed support, or a new method, or just one more day of patience. Here's something powerful. Failure doesn't mean you are weak. It means your method needs work. That's all. If you tried to bake a cake, but used the wrong recipe, would you say you're a bad cook? No. You'd find a better recipe. The same is true for goals. If your English study didn't work last time, don't blame yourself. Blame the plan. Then build a better one. Let's take a deep breath here. Because maybe you've failed before. Maybe you tried to learn something new and gave up. Maybe you've been carrying that failure like a heavy bag on your back. But now, I want you to set that bag down. You are not your past. You are your next decision. And today, you are learning how to do it right. We all have goals. Some are small, like learning 10 new English words. Some are big, like starting a business or moving to a new country. But every goal has the same need: a clear reason, a clear plan, and clear steps. That's what this video is about. And by the end, you'll understand how to make your goal real, not just in your mind, but in your life. So stay with me, because the next chapter will show you exactly how to make your goal clear. That's the first real step. Once you're clear, everything gets easier, and everything becomes possible. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. Get clear. What do you really want? Let's begin with a simple question. What do you really want? You might say, I want to be successful, or I want to speak English fluently, or I want to change my life. But here's the problem. Those goals are too big and too blurry. If your goal is not clear, your actions won't be clear either. Imagine you are going on a journey, but you don't know the destination. You might drive in circles. You might get lost. You might stop because you don't know where you're going. That's what happens when goals are not specific. Many people fail not because they are not working hard, but because they don't know what exactly they are working for. Let me give you an example. Someone says, I want to speak English like a native. That sounds good, but it's not clear. What does like a native mean? Does it mean 0 grammar mistakes? Does it mean using slang? Does it mean speaking fast? And how long will it take? Without a clear picture, the brain gets confused. And when your brain is confused, your motivation goes down. Now let's fix that. Let's turn a blurry goal into a clear one. Instead of saying, I want to speak English like a native, try this. I want to speak English for 5 minutes without stopping, using everyday vocabulary by the end of the next 3 months. Now that's a clear goal. You know what you want. You know what success looks like. You have a time limit. You can measure your progress. And your brain can understand the task. That makes a big difference. Another example. Let's say you want to lose weight. Instead of saying, I want to be fit, say, I want to lose 5 kilograms in 10 weeks by walking 30 minutes a day and eating less sugar. That's something you can track, something you can see. Your brain can work with this, and your chances of success go up a lot. So how do you create a clear goal? Start with this simple formula. What do you want plus how will you measure it plus by when equals a real goal? This turns your dream into something you can hold. Here's another powerful tip. Write it down. Don't just think about your goal. Write it. On paper. On your phone. On a sticky note. Anywhere. Because something happens in your brain when you write things down. You move the idea from your imagination into the real world. You make it real. You can see it. You can touch it. And every time you see your goal written down, your brain remembers. This is important. You can also take it one step further. Visualize it. This means to close your eyes and picture yourself achieving your goal. If your goal is to speak English fluently, imagine yourself in a cafe, talking to someone in English with confidence. Imagine their smile. Imagine your voice, smooth and strong. Feel that feeling. That's not just a fun exercise, it's a science-based tool. Studies show that when you imagine success, your brain begins to believe it's possible. And when your brain believes, your body follows. Now, let's make this personal. Pause for a moment and think. What is one goal you really want? Not what your teacher wants. Not what your family wants. What do you want? Be honest. Take a few seconds and think. Got it. Good. Now make it clear. Use the formula we talked about. Write it down. You can even pause this video if you need to. That's your first real step, turning your wish into a goal. Here's something important to remember. Clear goals are not just about language. They're about life. If you want to save money, travel, improve your health, start a business, the first step is always the same. Get clear. Know what you want. Know how you'll measure it. And know when you want to finish it. Now let me share a quick story. One of my English students once said, "I want to pass the IELTS exam." But that wasn't clear enough. So I asked her, "What score do you want? In how many months? What's your plan?" She said, "I want a band 7 in 4 months. I will practice reading and writing every day and take a mock test every Saturday." That was her turning point, because she got clear. And yes, she passed. That's the power of clarity. It turns confusion into confidence. It turns dreams into direction. And it turns someday into this day. So ask yourself again, what do you really want? Make it real. Make it clear. Write it down. And believe, not just with your heart, but with your eyes. Because now you can see it. And now that you know what you want, it's time to talk about how to get there, step by step. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to break your big goal into small, simple steps that are easy to follow. This is where real progress begins. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Break the big goal into small steps now that you're clear about what you really want. Let's talk about how to actually get there. Because this is the point where many people feel stuck. They know their goal. They're excited. They're ready to change. But then they look at how big the goal is. And suddenly, they feel scared, overwhelmed, unsure. And that's completely normal. Big goals can feel heavy. If you say, "I want to speak English fluently," your brain may think, "But that's too big. I don't know how." And then you stop. But here's something powerful. Every big goal is made of small steps. Always. It's like building a house. You don't build a house in one day. You lay one brick, then another, and another. Day by day, it becomes something big. But in the beginning, it's just small actions. Quiet steps. That's how real success is built. Not all at once, but one piece at a time. Let me give you a simple story. One of my students, let's call her Maria, wanted to become fluent in English. She said, I want to speak like a native speaker. I want to understand movies without subtitles. I want to feel confident. But she was also afraid. She said, "It feels so far away. I don't know where to start." So I asked her a question. "Can you learn 5 new words today?" She said yes. "Can you make 2 short sentences using those words?" Again, she said yes. And that's where she began. 5 words a day, 2 sentences, then 5 more the next day. After 1 month, she knew over 150 new words and used them with ease, all from small steps. So here's the key idea. Break your big goal into small, clear, simple tasks. If your goal is to speak English for 5 minutes without stopping, ask yourself, what is the first small step? Maybe it's learning 10 useful phrases. Maybe it's repeating a short dialogue every day. Maybe it's recording your voice for 30 seconds. That's all. Nothing huge. Just something you can do today. There's a rule I love. It's called the 2-minute rule. It's very simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it right now. And if your big goal feels too big, find a version of it that takes only 2 minutes. Want to improve your vocabulary? Start with 2 minutes of flashcards. Want to speak more? Talk to yourself for 2 minutes in English. Want to start writing? Write 1 sentence. Just 1. That's it. When the task is small, your brain says, "I can do that." And you begin. And beginning is the hardest part. But once you begin, momentum builds. Think of it like walking up a mountain. If you look at the top, it might seem impossible. But if you just focus on the next step, and then the next one, and the next, suddenly, you're halfway there. You didn't jump. You didn't fly. You walked. Slowly, but surely. The same is true with goals. Focus on the next step, not the whole staircase. Let's take a few examples. Big goal. I want to be fluent in English. Small steps. Learn 5 words every morning. Watch 1 short English video each day. Practice 1 sentence with good pronunciation. Speak with a partner for 3 minutes a week. Each of these is small, but they build fluency. 1 drop at a time. Big goal. I want to start my own business. Small steps. Read 1 page of a business book. Watch a 5-minute video about starting a business. Write 1 idea in a notebook. Talk to 1 person about your idea. Can you see how these small actions feel easier than the big dream? And here's the beautiful part. Small actions create small wins. And small wins create confidence. That confidence keeps you going. That's how people grow. Here's a quick tip. Keep a small notebook or digital note where you write your steps each day. Just write what you did, even if it's small. Today, I learned 3 words. Today, I listened to 1 English podcast. That little log will make you feel proud, and you'll start to see progress. And when you feel progress, you don't give up. So now I want you to look at your big goal again, the one you wrote in the last chapter. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take today? Something so small that it feels almost too easy. That's your first step. Write it down. Do it. And repeat it tomorrow. Remember, success is not built in a day. It's built in small, quiet moments. It's built in 2 minutes of courage, in 1 new word, in 1 short conversation. And over time, these small steps lead to big changes. This is how you make your goal feel possible. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper. Because now that you know how to take small steps, we need to build a system, a routine, that makes those steps a habit. Something automatic. That's the secret to staying on track, even when motivation disappears. So let's keep going. You've taken your first step. Now let's learn how to keep walking every single day. Chapter 4. build a system. Not just motivation, let's talk about something that almost everyone struggles with. Motivation. In the beginning, you feel excited. You feel strong. You say, "This time I will do it." You start learning English. You start exercising. You start saving money. But after a few days, the feeling fades. You wake up tired. You don't feel like studying. You say, "Maybe I'll do it tomorrow." And slowly, your goal starts to disappear. That's normal. Motivation is like a wave. It goes up and down. You can't depend on it. If your success depends only on motivation, you will not reach your goal. Because motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. So instead of relying on motivation, we need something stronger. We need a system. A system is a daily routine, a habit, a simple action that you do every day with or without motivation. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't need to feel motivated. You just do it. That's what we want with your goal. We want it to become automatic, easy, a part of your life. So how do we do that? Let's start with something called habit stacking. This is when you connect a new habit with an old habit you already have. For example, you already brush your teeth every morning, right? That's a habit. Now stack something on top. You can say, "After I brush my teeth, I will watch one short English video." Or, "After I eat lunch, I will study vocabulary for 5 minutes." You use something you already do as a signal to start something new. That way, you don't forget. You don't need motivation. You just follow the pattern. Here's another example. Let's say you drink tea every evening. That's a habit. Now say, "While I drink tea, I will listen to an English podcast." That's habit stacking. One old habit, one new habit, together. The next thing is environment design. This means changing your space so it helps your goals. Because your environment affects your actions more than you think. If your phone is full of distractions, games, social media, noise, your brain will go there. But if you design your space for success, it becomes easier to focus. Let's say you want to learn English every evening. You can put your English book on your desk, or save your favorite English YouTube channel on your home screen, or place a sticky note on your mirror that says, "Practice one sentence today." These small changes guide your brain. They remind you. They pull you in the right direction. You can also remove distractions. Turn off notifications. Keep your phone in another room while studying. Block apps that waste your time. Create a small space that's just for your goal, even if it's just a chair and a notebook. That space tells your brain, "This is where I learn. This is who I am." Another powerful tool is a reward system. This means giving yourself a small reward after you complete your habit. For example, after studying English for 10 minutes, you can give yourself a piece of chocolate, or watch your favorite show, or just say, "Good job," and smile. It might sound simple, but your brain loves rewards. When you feel good after doing a task, your brain wants to do it again. That's how habits grow. Also, don't forget to track your progress. This is very important. You can use a calendar, a notebook, or an app. Just write down what you did each day. Today I studied for 10 minutes. Today I learned 3 new words. These little marks show your journey. They build confidence. And when you see 10 days in a row, you don't want to break the chain. You feel proud, and that feeling keeps you going. Let me give you a real example. One of my students, Ahmed, wanted to improve his English speaking, but he had a busy job. He said, "I don't have time. I don't feel motivated." So I helped him build a system. Every morning, after making coffee, he listened to a short English story. Just 3 minutes. In the evening, before dinner, He recorded one sentence about his day in English. And on Sundays, he watched one English movie with subtitles. He tracked everything in a small notebook. After 6 weeks, his confidence was up. His vocabulary was stronger. And the best part? He was no longer waiting for motivation. He just followed his system. That's what I want for you. So here's a challenge. Right now, take one habit you already have. Maybe brushing your teeth, eating dinner, making tea. Then add a 2-minute version of your goal after that habit. Write it down. Try it for 1 week. Don't wait for motivation. Just follow the pattern. Remember, success is not built on energy. It's built on consistency. Systems make success simple. Systems turn dreams into habits. And once your goal becomes a habit, nothing can stop you. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something very important: what to do when things go wrong. Because even with the best system, you will face problems. You might miss a day. You might feel tired. You might want to quit. And that's okay. In Chapter 5, I'll show you how to stay on the path, even when life gets hard. Chapter 5, Stay on the Path, How to Handle Failure. Let's be honest. No matter how strong your goal is, no matter how good your system is, there will be a time when you want to quit. Maybe you miss a day, or you get tired, or you don't see fast results. You feel like it's not working. You feel frustrated. You feel bored. And you think, why should I keep going? This moment happens to everyone. Yes, everyone. Even the most successful people. Even the best learners. But here's what they understand. Failure is not the end. It's part of the path. In fact, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Read that again. Most people think success means never failing. But that's not true. Real success means learning how to keep going, even after you fall. There's a phrase I love: fall forward. It means that when you make a mistake, don't fall backward into bad habits or give up. Instead, fall forward, learn something. Try again. Adjust your system. Keep moving, even slowly. Let's look at some simple examples. Imagine you're learning English. You plan to watch one video a day. You did it for 10 days, and then you missed one. Maybe you were sick. Maybe you were busy. And now you feel bad. You think, I broke my streak. I failed. But wait, did you really fail? No. You succeeded for 10 days. That's progress. And one missed day doesn't erase that. What matters is what you do next. You can stop, or you can start again. The second choice is what winners do. Another example: you want to speak English fluently. You try to talk to someone, but you forget the words. You feel nervous. You make a mistake. And now you feel ashamed. You think, I'll never be fluent. But again, wait, did you fail? Or did you just practice? Every mistake is a lesson. Every wrong word teaches you something. That's falling forward. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who failed in business many times. He lost money. He made mistakes. People laughed at him. But he didn't stop. He kept learning. He tried again. That man's name was Thomas Edison, and he later invented the light bulb. He once said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the mindset of success. And here's another story closer to our topic. A young woman wanted to pass her English exam. She studied hard. She took the test and failed. She cried. She felt like giving up. But then she asked herself, what went wrong? She opened her notebook. She wrote about her weak points. She made a new study plan. 3 months later, she passed. Why? Because she didn't stop. She used failure as feedback. Now, let's talk about emotions. When you fail or struggle, you feel things. You might feel frustrated because progress is slow. You might feel bored because habits are not always exciting. You might feel afraid of being judged or not being good enough. These feelings are normal, but they don't have to control you. One simple way to manage your emotions is to use a journal. Write your thoughts. Write your wins. Write your mistakes. Ask yourself, what went well today? What didn't go well? What can I do differently tomorrow? This process is powerful. When you write, you see your thoughts more clearly. You understand yourself. You become your own teacher. And slowly, you build a strong mind. If you don't like writing, you can also use voice notes. Just open your phone and speak. Today, I tried to speak in English. I was nervous, but I did it. I want to do better tomorrow. Even 30 seconds can help. It's like talking to a friend, but the friend is you. And here's one last trick. When you feel low, when you feel like quitting, do this. Look back. Look at where you started. Maybe 1 month ago, you didn't know 20 English words, and now you do. Maybe you couldn't speak one sentence, and now you can say 3. That's progress. That's power. You are already growing, and growth takes time. Let me tell you a secret. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who stand up one more time. Always one more time. So today, if you're feeling tired or lost or stuck, it's okay. You're human. Take a breath. Reflect. Reset. And try again. That's how goals are reached, one comeback at a time. In the next chapter, we'll go one step deeper. You've learned how to build habits, how to handle hard times, and how to take small steps. But now it's time to ask, who are you becoming? Because true success is not just about what you do. It's about who you believe you are. And that's the real secret to reaching any goal. Chapter 6. The Secret Power, Identity and Belief. We've talked about many things in this video. How to set clear goals, how to break them into small steps, how to build systems, and how to stay strong when things go wrong. But now, in this final chapter, I want to take you deeper. I want to share with you a secret that most people don't talk about, the real engine behind all success. And that secret is your identity, your belief. Because people who succeed don't just do things, they become the kind of person who does them. Let's start with a simple truth. Your actions come from how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who is lazy, who always gives up, or who can't learn languages, then your brain will try to make that belief come true. Even if you try hard, something inside will pull you back. But if you change your identity, if you start saying, I am a learner, or I am an English speaker, or I am the kind of person who finishes what I start, then your brain begins to support that new version of you. Your actions start to match your new belief. It's like planting a seed in your mind. If you plant the seed of doubt, you grow excuses. But if you plant the seed of belief, you grow confidence, discipline, and success. And like any seed, it needs time, care, and attention. You have to water it daily with small actions. You have to protect it from negative thoughts. And one day, that small belief becomes a big part of who you are. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people. Both are trying to learn English. One says, I need to study English. The other says, I am an English speaker, and I study every day to improve. Who do you think will succeed? Probably the second one. Why? Because their identity is already connected to their goal. Their actions are not something extra. They are part of who they are. Here's another example. If someone says, I want to stop smoking, they are still identifying as a smoker. But if someone says, I am not a smoker, they're making a new identity, and their actions will begin to follow that identity. So ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Not just what you want to do, but who you want to become. Do you want to become someone who is confident? Someone who is consistent? Someone who finishes what they start? Then start telling yourself that story. Every day, you can say simple things like, I am a person who shows up. I am someone who keeps learning, even when it's hard. I don't give up. I grow. These are not just words. These are messages to your brain. And your brain listens. Over time, these small messages become your belief. And belief is powerful. Here's a helpful way to think about it. Don't focus only on the goal. Focus on becoming the kind of person who reaches that goal. Let's say your goal is to speak English fluently. Ask yourself, what would a fluent English speaker do every day? Would they practice? Would they read in English? Would they speak without fear? Then you do those things, not because you have to, but because it's who you are becoming. And remember, identity doesn't change overnight. It changes with small actions, repeated daily. Every time you study, you are proving to yourself, yes, this is who I am. Every time you show up, even when it's hard, you are sending your brain a message. I am serious about this. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you are becoming more of the person you want to be. Let's take a moment now to look at everything we've built in this journey. You learned that failure is not final, it's feedback. You learned how to set clear goals that make sense. You learned how to break those goals into small, simple steps. You learned how to build daily systems, not just depend on motivation. And now, you've learned the most important thing of all. Who you believe you are is the foundation of what you do. So here's the final task. Close your eyes for just a few seconds and imagine your new identity. Imagine yourself as the person who already reached the goal, who already speaks fluently, who already studies with confidence, who already believes. Feel it, see it, own it, because that version of you is not far away. That version of you starts today with one simple choice, to believe. And now, the path is complete. You have the tools. You have the steps. And now, you have the belief. You are not just someone who wants to change. You are someone who does change. You don't just chase goals. You reach them. Let's move forward. Together. Call to action. After Chapter 6, if this video helped you, give it a like. And if you're ready to take your first step today, comment below. I'm starting now. I'll reply and cheer you on. And don't forget to subscribe for more real English lessons that help you grow, not just in language, but in life. Remember, every big dream starts with one small decision. And you just made it. Call to action. After Chapter 6, if this video helped you, give it a like. It tells the algorithm that real learners like you are here. And it helps more people find this video. And if you're ready to take your first step today, no matter how small, leave a comment below and type, I'm starting now. I'll be reading every comment, and I'll reply to cheer you on personally. Your first step deserves to be celebrated. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make real English lessons designed for real learners, not just to teach you grammar, but to help you grow in confidence, clarity, and mindset. Because success in language is also success in life. And here's something to remember.